What's up, HELLRAISERS? Welcome back to another video, and today I have a different type of video for you today. And just before I begin into the video today, one of my videos was basically reported for hate speech and like other kind of stuff. I don't really know, even though I did not promote any hate speech. I think it's because I have a very, I guess you would say, controversial or a very dirty mouth, I guess, and somebody reported the video for that. But it's okay. Or maybe it's because people is hating and they don't want to see me get to the top. But whatever. So this video right here might also get me in trouble with Rotten Tomatoes, which I can't fucking stand. I hate Rotten Tomatoes and I think they is a fucking joke. So, with all that being said, today's top 10 list is about the lowest rated horror movies or thriller that I like that is rated so low, under 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. These are movies that I enjoy watching, and I'm going to tell you what these movies is about, and beware, some of these movies might have some major spoilers. So, with all that being said, let's get into this list. Things off with my 3 honorable mentions and then my top 10 list. Honorable mention number 3 will be God's Son. This movie tells a story about a young woman who have a son and who died, and she do anything in her power to bring her son back. And when she bring her son back, he is not the same person she remember. He is completely different, and he remembered dying before. This movie is rated 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. 4%. This movie deserves so much more than that. This movie is fucking good. You got Robert De Niro in this movie. Oh my god, this movie is... Once this movie come on, you is immediately invested with the characters, with the plot, with the story. Not to mention, this is definitely a remake. But like I said, this one right here is pretty fucking good. This movie was made in 2004, and it is very, very effective for 2004. But I don't think this movie deserves a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, come the fuck on, people. Honorable mention number 2, we have The Hitcher. The Hitcher, I believe. This movie came out in 2007. This movie tells a story about a young man and a young woman. They basically go have like a nice look. I'm guessing they take it like a family vacation or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. And basically, this crazy Hitcher is on this road, and he decided to make their life a living hell. And he is stopping at nothing until he killed at least not one, but both of their asses. And what this movie delivered is far more terrifying than what I'm telling you. This movie is rated a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why? Like, this movie is so underrated. All these movies on this list is very underrated. And I feel like these movies deserve a little bit more love than what they have given on Rotten Tomatoes. I seriously don't understand. Rotten Tomatoes is just filled with bullshit ass kissers. And I'm not going to hold back on my word. Honorable mention number 3, and the final honorable mention, is The Invasion, starring Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman. This is definitely another remake that I truly love. This movie tells a story about this town that is being taken over and invaded with alien invasion. And this one lady and this cop must find out what the hell is going on in the town. And the town is starting to take over each person one by one. They found out, the bigger and the crazier this movie gets. This movie is probably one of my favorite movies to come out of 2007. And boy, when I tell you, this movie is fucking off the chain. This movie has some of the best acting Nicole Kidman have ever given. I've seen her in better movies, but in this is when she was at her best. If you haven't seen this movie, this is the only movie on this list I would highly recommend. You can check this movie out right now on Tubi TV. This movie is worth the watch. Moving on into my top 10, we have a movie called ATM. This movie tells a story about these three young business people. They find themselves being trapped inside of an ATM little box machine, and there's this crazy psychopath on the outside is trying to trap them on the inside and not letting them leave. He's terrorized them for the next 24 hours, from night all the way till morning. And what he does to these people is fucking insane. This movie right here is probably one of the most rewatched movies on this entire fucking list for me. This movie is rated a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. What the fuck? This movie is awesome. This is probably, like I said, the best movie on this entire fucking list. I don't understand why it's rated this fucking low. Maybe people don't know good movies when they see one. Number 9, we have Leprechaun 2. Leprechaun 2 tells a story about, if you know Leprechaun, you already know what this movie is about. But this movie tells a story about Leprechaun looking to fucking get his gold back, and that's pretty much it. I mean, this is the best I can describe this movie. But this movie is rated a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. 6%. I can understand why it's rated that low. Now, this is probably the only movie I would not be too hardcore on, because I understand why this movie is rated so low. But I feel like this movie deserves a little bit more love than 6%. But it's not good acting. I can admit it's bad acting. I can understand why it's 6%. But there's another movie on this list that I would definitely have to explain myself why it's on this list. So let's keep going. Number 8, we have Friday the 13th. Jason Take the Boat. Jason Take Manhattan. Okay, this is one of the movies that a lot of people hate, and this is probably the worst of the entire franchise, at least not to me. But I understand why it's probably everybody's worst of the entire franchise. But this movie tells a story about Jason finding himself on this big ass ship, and he's going to New York. And on the way to New York, he is killing everybody and anything that stands in his way, and he will stop at nothing until he gets to the main protagonist throughout this entire film. Once he gets to New York, the movie is over immediately. Literally, like, the movie ends as soon as Jason gets to New York. Jason gets to New York, and then bam, the movie's over. Literally. That's pretty much what happened. But like I said, I enjoyed Jason Take the Boat, Manhattan. But this movie is rated a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. Whew. I don't understand why, but I can relate, I guess. 7, we have a movie called Homecoming. This movie tells a story about this young man that comes back to his hometown. There's a reunion at his high school, and his old first love girlfriend is there. And she is so happy to see him, but he is not interested in her, but she is interested in him. And she tries her hardest to get him to fall back in love with her. And no matter how hard she tries, he just continues to just say no. He has his new girlfriend there. And so his old girlfriend, she decided to take his new girlfriend and trap her inside of her house. Basically do a whole Stephen King misery on her ass. And she is not letting her ass go. And while she got his girlfriend trapped inside of her house, let's just say she go out and try to make him, fall back in love with her. And he is on the fucking rampage trying to find his girlfriend, and he have no idea where she's at. I think I just pretty much spoiled the whole fucking movie. The movie came out in 2009, and it is rated 0%. 0%? Really? Wow. Maybe I love this movie a little bit too much, but I don't think this movie deserves 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's why I said Rotten Tomatoes is a fucking big ass kisser, and they deserve to be stopped. They need to be stopped. That shit's not fair. This movie deserves some love. Underrated movie, and it's fucking awesome. 6, we have a movie called Darkness Falls. This movie tells a story about this urban legend that is in this town, and no matter what they do, as soon as they turn off the light, there's this creature that will come out and kill their asses. And every time they turn the light back on, this creature goes away. Turn the light back off, she shows up. But no matter what they do, it's very hard to kill it her or him, whatever the creature is. This movie is not a good acting, but I do like the premise. This movie, I would like to say, is ahead of its time. Probably one of my most rewatched movies on this entire fucking list. One of them, there's another one. But I enjoyed this film. The film is rated a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't understand why this movie is rated so low, but I think this movie deserves a little bit more love than 9%. Like I said, don't understand why. Number 5, we have a movie called 13 Ghosts. This movie tells the story about this rich guy who dies and who leaves this house to his family, and what they don't know is when they move into this house, there is some creepy ass ghosts terrorizing the entire fucking house. But this house just isn't any house. This house is made out of glass, just pure glass. And the only way for the people to see the ghost, they must wear the glasses. If they don't wear the glasses, they can't see the ghost. This movie stars Matthew Lillard, one of my favorite actors throughout the entire 90s, early 2000s. And honestly, this movie deserves a little bit more love. This movie is rated a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. I find that it's a fucking bizarre mess. This movie is fucking awesome and it deserves some fucking love. Rotten Tomatoes, you are full of shit. Number 4 might be a movie that I have to review separately because a lot of people might go in the comments, probably not, or maybe some of my friends and family might be like, what the fuck are you smoking? Number 4 is Troll 2. Okay, let me explain. I know this is a bad movie, okay? I know that. I'm aware that this movie is the worst, best movie ever, okay? I understand. So don't get mad if this movie is on my list, okay? It's just my own personal list. But like I said, Troll 2 is a good movie for me. I love how cringy and how bad and how corny this movie is. This movie tells the story about this small town family going on vacation to another town called Nearby, and there's fucking goblins there that's giving people this green Nickelodeon glue stuff that's making them eat it, and they turn into green blobs, and the goblins eat them. No shit. Okay, this movie has some of the worst acting in history. The worst acting you will ever see is in this movie. But I love how batshit crazy this movie is. If you're not familiar with what batshit crazy means, well, my definition for batshit crazy means a movie that is bonkers shit and it's so shitty it's bad to the point where bad is not a good way to explain it. Well, that's what batshit crazy mean. Well, the bat come in at, well, a bat flies around at night. And the best time to watch this movie is at night, so bat. But like I said, I enjoyed this movie for how shit it is, okay? This is a very shitty movie that came out in 1990 and it is rated a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. I understand that, okay? Like I said, I'm aware of how shitty this movie is. But I still enjoy it because it's a shit movie, so what the hell? Why the fuck not? Moving on. With 3, we have a movie called Pulse. This movie tells a story about this young man who discovered this strange chat room on the internet, if you would say, and he ended up dying and trapping himself into the computer, and he's trying to get his friends to help him get out of this computer or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen this movie, but I do know I love the hell out of this movie because I watched it at least 3-4 times. This is a very interesting movie, especially for the time that it came out. It came out in 2006, a little bit ahead of its time, but this movie is rated a 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. I can understand the movie being rated that low, like I said. It's an interesting movie. Once you watch the movie, you will start to understand the movie a little bit more. The movie have a lot of plot holes in it that will leave you with a bad taste in your mouth or a lot of unanswered things, and then your brain starts spinning around like, how the fuck did that happen? How that worked? But it's still a good movie. The movie pretty much knows what it is today. Number 2 is a movie called When a Stranger Calls. This movie tells a story about a young woman who was sent out to babysit 2 young kids, and little about she know while she is on the job babysitting these 2 young kids, there's this crazy delusional psychopath calling her and harassing her throughout the entire day and night. And she don't know what to do but to call the police. And when she called the police, they are trying to track the car. And every time they track the car, the killer will hang up the phone. He called back one last time, and the police called her back and said, the car is coming from in the house. And this is when the movie goes nuts. This movie is rated 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why? 9%? This movie is it's bone chilling. It is the most bone chilling movie on this entire fucking list. I think 9% is even close to what this movie deserves. This movie deserves more. Number one is a movie called Ring. This movie tells a story about this young girl who ended up finding herself trapped inside the TV, and if you watch the tape, you die in 7 days. Well, this might sound familiar because it is. It's a movie called Ring and Ring 2, and it's also a Japanese version called Ring U. This is basically like, I guess you say like a sequel, I guess you would say. But this movie right here is rated a 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think this movie deserves that low a fucking percentage, but whatever. I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. I watched it at least 3-4 times when it came to cable. I mean, maybe a streaming service at the time. But like I said, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It was one of my most anticipated movies back in 2017. And a lot of YouTubers really hate this movie. But like I said, this movie is fucking awesome. And 8% kind of bother me a lot with this movie. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up my list. If you have any movie that is rated below 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, please let me know in the comments. I might check them out and I might watch them. Also, I will be doing a collaboration with another YouTuber. Right now, we're still working out on what we're gonna be doing. I will definitely let you guys know what we are planning. You are new around here. My name is Kevin Johnson and I love horror movies. If you are a horror fan like me, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on the video. Please turn on that damn bell notification. So that way when I drop another lit video, boom, you will be the first ones to get that notification. Also, if you want to get in touch with me, all of my social media link will be in the description down below. And I hope to see you Hellraisers in the next video. And as I always say on my other videos, keep a beautiful smile on your face. Stay positive. Stay creepy, and I'll see you Hellraisers in the next video. Peace.